Here, the lender's risk hypothesis in the context of the rural market. How the risk default occurs in the presence of collateral at the informal credit market. So, the rural credit market refers to the system through which financial resources are made available to individual businesses and agricultural enterprise in rural area. This market can be both type, informal and formal. The lender's risk hypothesis is a concept that addresses the risks faced by the lender, particularly in the context of rural credit market. This hypothesis suggests that lenders assess the risks of default by borrower based on various factors including borrower's credit worthiness, the nature of the loan, and the socio-economic environment in which the borrower operates. Key aspects There are some key aspects of the lender's risk hypothesis in the rural credit market. Its lenders earn no return over and above the opportunity cost. There is a high risk of default because of involuntary default, and risk is strategic. Risk is involuntary, that means because of misfortune, and the strategic default when a borrower chooses to stop paying a debt even though they can afford to pay it. It is a business decision to minimize losses. When the strategic defaults occurs, that the value of the property drops below the amount owned by the mortgage. When a real estate bubble bursts, and when the company can conceal its true state to avoid repaying a loan. So the lender earn no return over and above the opportunity because there is a high risk of default. Let P be the probability of repayment and 1 minus P be the probability of default. Consider a village money lender L. L be the total amount of the fund to be lent. Those who are want to take this amount of money, or they are called borrower. It's be the interest rate changed. Now money lenders expected profit. Here we consider two type of interest, I and R. I, it's a rate of interest from the lender, those are giving lend from the informal sector, and R is the formal sector interest rate. So P into 1 plus I bracket close L minus 1 plus R, it's equal to 0, and then I is equal to R. When I is equal to R, then there it's no default. We have I is equal to R. I it's equal to R. But normally I is greater than R. So reality, the rural credit market risk is default, size and use of the loan increases the situation of life. When the use of the loan amount increase, then default increase as well. So, what factor can affect the default of loan? That is, large loan, the more chance of default. Large repayment, more default. Fixed asset loan, more default. There is three condition, and default and collateral. what factor can the borrower can give to the lender, that is mortgage of land, mortgage of labor, and mortgage of ration land. Two types of collateral. Lenders and borrowers values of collateral highly, and borrowers value higher than the lender one. That means never ever lender value will be lesser than borrower value. But always lender value is greater than borrower value. Why this is happening in the market? Suppose we consider that the small farmer need a loan L and I be the interest rate. So V of S is a small farmer's land and V of B is a big farmer's land. So here return to loan. If a lender provide loan, then he or she have some return. Borrower it's an involuntary defaulter, and borrower it's a mutual defaulter. So the total value of the borrower, that is V of S plus F. What is F? F means fixed value he or she need to pay plus his asset value. And when F is the monetary loss, F is monetary loss. That means if a lender it's giving loan to a person, and those person taking loan by giving her land, her labor, and any spacious things. So if the borrower not pay back the loan, then this much amount must uh, go on the side of the credit, those who are giving credit with this amount. So when if it's monetary loss of fundamental default over and above the collateral, gain is, what will be the gain? L into 1 plus I. So borrower will prefer to return when L into 1 plus I it's less than V S plus B, S plus F. When this much amount is higher than the lender it's actually taking in hard side. And lastly, labor will prefer to back his money, or lender will prefer to back his money when and to what situation this can arise, that lender it's more eager to get his uh, money back when the L into 1 plus I, that is the income of the lender, it's higher than the value of the borrower. Suppose I am a lender, my asset value it's 100 rupees, and I am giving loan someone else, and but his asset value is 50. Then I am me as a borrower, me as a lender will try to back my asset. That is happen in this case. So equation 1 and equation 2 can say VB, value of the big farmer, it's always less than value of S plus F. The lender's valuation must be lesser, always be lesser than the borrower. then the collateral value, its high rates of default will be high. That means if VB value of the big farmer is less than the VS plus V, and if F is equal to 0, then VB is less than VS. VB means value of the big farmer is less than the value of the small farmer. That means a value of the big farmer is always giving the loan to the small farmer. That is why value of the big farmer will be always greater. Value of the big farmer will always be lesser than the small farmer. So if value of the B or big farmer is greater than VS plus F, borrower prefer to pay back because value of the big farmer it's greater when VB it's greater than VS plus F. In this case, value of the big farmer is greater than the other farmer or small farmer, then it's more interest. From this equation, from this inequality, we can say when the value of the mm, big farmer it's greater than the value uh, given to the borrower, then the small farmer have greater chance of default because this amount is lesser than this amount.